When you hear the term undrafted success story, you'll probably think of Kurt Warner, John Randall, Warren Moon, or even Tony Romo. But there's one name that I believe to be the definitive undrafted success story in the NFL, and that's Wayne Chrebet.
She said to me, the answer is easy if you take.
Around where I'm from, Wayne Chrebet is a popular name. Go to any Jets game, and you'll see a lot of jerseys that read Chrebet 80 on the back of them. And in that Christmas movie Elf, there's a kid in that movie who wears a Wayne Chrebet jersey, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, Wayne Chrebet was a tiny guy at 5 feet 10 inches tall, which, if you didn't know, is below the average height of an NFL wide receiver. Wayne played recklessly and wasn't afraid to get hit, which caused a lot of concussions in his career that I'll talk about later. This fearless recklessness dated back to his childhood, when he fell face first onto a coffee table, resulting in 22 stitches. Of course, Wayne was obsessed with sports as a kid and played every sport available to him. Despite his mother's protests, he started playing football. Keep in mind, this is a time when parents were more willing to allow their children to play football. And knowing what happened to Wayne Chrebet, it's heartbreaking to think of his mother's concerns against him playing football. But he did, and he worked harder than anyone on the field. Wayne attended Garfield High School in Garfield, New Jersey, where he played basketball, football, and baseball. He was the man on Garfield High's basketball team. It was his best sport at the time, but his true love was on the football field, so he worked very hard to grow as a football player, as football was a platform for him to release his recklessness. Wayne extensively watched game film and was in constant communication with his coach, trying everything he could to get better. And better he got, but still, it wasn't enough for him to garner any interest from colleges, as he had 0 scholarship offers for athletics. So at this point, Wayne was an 18-year-old kid who had a great time playing sports in high school. Typically in this situation, a kid would be grateful for the memories he shared with his teammates on the field and in the weight room, and accept the fact that he won't be able to play this game anymore. But Wayne wasn't having any of that. He wasn't going to accept that fate, so he suited up as a walk-on at Hofstra University and impressed on the field, making the team. For what Chrebet lacked in size, he more than made up for with his work ethic. Wayne Chrebet would go down as the greatest wide receiver in Hofstra history. That was until Marquez Colston came along, who had a crazy football journey in his own right. Maybe I'll do a video on him someday, but I digress. Wayne set 6 Hofstra receiving records and had the first 1,000-yard season in school history. In a game against Delaware, Wayne set a single-game school record with 245 yards and tied Jerry Rice's NCAA Division I AA record with 5 touchdowns. Yes, Wayne Chrebet did something that only the undisputed greatest wide receiver of all time has done. Unbelievable. So yeah, Wayne balled out in Hofstra. He beat the odds, but he wasn't done yet. After graduating from Hofstra, it would still be very difficult for Wayne to get to the next level, but adversity didn't seem to faze Wayne. He had the work ethic, all he needed was a break. Wayne wasn't invited to the combine, but the Saints and Bengals were interested enough to give him a workout. But as the story of every undrafted success story goes, the draft went by and his name wasn't called. Wayne was with his parents at a local bar during the draft. He didn't expect to get picked, and his expectations were correct. But did you think Wayne would stop trying after this? Of course he wouldn't. This was the same guy who didn't garner an iota of interest from colleges, but walked on at Hofstra and set several school records. Adversity was Wayne's inspiration. Wayne had a tryout with the Baltimore Stallions of the Canadian Football League, but nothing ever materialized from it. Yes, there's a Baltimore in Canada. It's in Ontario. After this, Wayne's break would come in the form of green and white. The Jets were close to Hofstra. They used it as a training facility in the summer, and the Jets would give Wayne his much-needed break. Chrebet was famously stopped from entering the camp by a security guard who refused to believe he was actually invited to a tryout by the Jets. All Wayne Chrebet needed was the break, and he was able to take care of the rest, getting the eye of head coach Rich Kotite.
I did. We got into training camp. I keep seeing this kid diving, making great plays, and it was Wayne Chrebet.
And after this, Wayne Chrebet was confident he'd make the roster.
I won't be happy, leaving here. I don't want to leave here. I didn't get myself a round-trip token for the bridge because I don't plan on going home.
He did it. Wayne Chrebet made an NFL roster. This alone was an amazing accomplishment, but Wayne didn't want to just make the team. He wanted to remain on the roster and become a starter. The Jets were awful in his rookie year in 1995, and Kotite wanted to give Wayne all the touches he could, as he was one of Wayne's biggest supporters at the time.
Let the kid run it. Okay. Get Chrebet in there. Get in there. I got to give this kid some experience. He's a tough son. Oh, he's great. He can do a lot of things.
We had a meeting. I says, I want to start this kid. And the guys are saying, well, I says, we're going to start him.
Big shout out to Rich Kotite, by the way. He was a terrible coach, but if it wasn't for him, Wayne Chrebet wouldn't have played a single down in the NFL. I truly believe that. Wayne had a successful rookie season. He was really the only bright spot on a terrible Jets team. He was sleeping on a teammate's couch, and when Kotite got wind of this, he told him to go get his own place.
Coach Kotite came up to me and I wanted to know. He said, I heard you were sleeping on someone's couch. I said, well, I'm not really sure, what's going on yet. And this was after already 2 regular season games and starting. And he said, listen, I got a feeling you're going to be around for a while. He said, go find yourself a place to stay.
So yeah, Wayne Chrebet had made it. He was an immediate fan favorite. He was physical and reliable, especially on third down. Out of his 580 career receptions, 379 of them came on third down. And that's why they called him Mr. Third Down. After his second season, Wayne Chrebet set a then NFL record with 150 catches over his first 2 seasons. Of course, this record would be broken many times since, but it's still cool he set it at the time. Wayne had his best season in 1998, breaking 1,000 receiving yards for the only time in his career on a Jets team that went 12-4. That season, he and Keyshawn Johnson formed one of the league's best receiving duos. Wayne was never the best wide receiver in the league, but he was reliable, consistent, and tough as nails. He was never selected to a Pro Bowl, but he had a solid career, a career that was very close to not happening. Later in his career, his reckless style of play would catch up with him as concussions started to pile up. And in the 2005 season, in a Week 9 game against the San Diego Chargers, he would play his last snap in the NFL.
Signals, takes the snap, back to throw, looks left, throws left, tossed by Chrebet, at the 10, first down Jets. What a catch by Chrebet. The clock continues to run. Jerry Wilson drove Chrebet down, and he is injured and flat on his back. Chrebet has a concussion history, so this is an issue.
This catch was a third down conversion. After being told that he risked brain damage if he suffered another concussion, Wayne Chrebet announced his retirement, putting an end to an incredible 11-year NFL journey. If Wayne Chrebet was coming out of Hofstra in the 2010s, Bill Belichick would have given him a call. We all know how much Bill loves undersized white wide receivers. Sadly, Wayne is still dealing with the effects of his concussions to this day. The concerns of his mother rang true, but to Wayne, he's proud of his football career. We all know football is a violent game. Even someone as tough as Wayne can only take so much.
Well, I said, imagine how fast I am and him running as fast as he can, and we run at each other and hit. I like that. Would I play any other way than what I'm saying? No. It's not in my DNA. It's not how I wanted to be. We go on with our life. I got 3 great kids, a great wife, great family, and damage is done. I wouldn't change that, because if I did, I wouldn't be respected, and appreciated the way I am now. I think if I would have changed the way I played, then I don't think I would have that kind of a following, I guess you could say.
Wayne loves football. He loves the competition, the aggression, and absorbing big hits. He played with reckless passion, fearless when taking hits from men who are larger than him. His career was defined by his toughness, and he was proud of everything he left on the field. Even if it led to problems in his life, he sacrificed his body and his mind for the game. I'm not going to glamorize a man risking his health for a game, but Wayne has accepted his fate, and he's living a good life these days. I wish the best for Wayne Chrebet in his future. His legacy in the New York sports world will never die. If you grew up a Jets fan and you're my age, Wayne is likely one of the first football players you've ever heard of, and to think he was as close as he was to never seeing an NFL field.
Leave your lover.